Hello students, um, welcome to this lecture session wherein we are discussing about conducting an experiment using thermistor. Okay, so by the end of this session you will be able to understand how to conduct experiment on a temperature sensor, that is thermistor. So before that, I will just brief you, uh, uh, give you some information about thermistors. So the aim of the experiment is to measure temperature in terms of voltage and current using temperature sensor bridge. So here the temperature sensor, what we are using is thermistor. So I will just give you a few uh, introduction about thermistors. So, a thermistor is a type of resistor. That's why the name thermal resistor actually. So, combining those two words, it gets the name thermistor, used to measure temperature changes. So, based on the temperature change, there will be change in resistance that we can observe from this particular resistor, type of resistor. So the change of temperature varies across, say, -42 up to 150 degrees centigrade, and it can be used for operations where resistances are in kilowatt range. So where resistance can range from few watts to several megawatts. So the thermistors can take shape of different configuration. It can be like rods, as you can see here, or it can be of disc or washer or beads. Okay, so these are the different ways you can find the thermistors to be. So there are two types of thermistors as such, the negative temperature coefficient thermistors and positive thermal coefficient thermistors. So in negative thermal coefficient thermistors, the resistance will decrease with the increase in temperature, whereas in positive temperature positive thermal coefficient thermistors, the resistance will increase with the increase in temperature, whereas in negative uh, thermal coefficient, the resistance will decrease with the increase in temperature. So, uh, in terms of construction, the negative thermal coefficient thermistors are commonly made from oxides of metals such as manganese, cobalt, nickel, and copper. These are like ground to fine powder, then compressed and subject to very high heat. So generally they are crystallized from semiconducting materials like silicon or germanium. Whereas the PTC, that is positive thermal coefficient thermistors, are generally made by introducing small quantity of semiconducting material into polycrystalline ceramic. Okay, where the temperature reaches, when temperature reaches critical point, the semiconducting material forms a barrier to the flow of electricity, and resistance will change. So the working principle is the electrical resistance of the metal depends on temperature, right? We know about this. So as there is change in temperature, that in turn will cause the resistance of these materials to change. So this change in the resistance can be used to be reflected in some electrical parameter. Okay. So in a positive thermal coefficient working principle, as we mentioned earlier, the resistance of these type of thermistors increase with the increase in temperature. So the typical graph is shown here. As the temperature increases, resistance also will increase. So whereas in NTC, the negative thermal coefficient thermistors, the resistance will decrease for every rise in temperature. So the thermistor resistance temperature relationship can be given by this relation, as you can see here. The resistance R of NTC type of thermistors is given as R reference into e to the power of beta into 1 by T minus 1 by T reference, where T is the temperature at which you are taking the resistance. T reference is the reference temperature. Generally, it will be room temperature. R is the resistance of the thermistor in the equation. And R reference is the resistance at the reference temperature. Okay. Generally, the reference temperature is 25 degrees as shown here. And beta is a constant. It is a calibration constant depending on the material on which the thermistor is made of. So usually that value ranges from 3000 to 5000 K. Okay, so the reference is given here. You can just cross check if you want. So major specifications to be considered while using thermistors are its resistance temperature curve, which we know that it varies from thermistors to thermistor. Generally, these specifications, the nominal resistance value, resistance tolerance, or the beta tolerance, all these will be given by the manufacturer in the data sheet. So that the type of thermistor what you are using, you can refer to these values and use it according to the application. So the main applications where the thermistors can be used are given here. So depending upon the application again, whether you want to go for PTC, that is positive thermal coefficient thermistors, or negative thermal coefficient, you can decide and use it. So here the application of PTC thermistors are given. They're used as resettable fuses. They're used in time delay circuits. PTC thermistors are used in motor starting circuits. They're used in degaussing circuit, used in as a combination of in heater, that is with a thermistor, and they're also used as liquid level or flow sensors, where you have to check along with the temperature. The application of NTC is listed here. General industrial applications can be like mainly in process control, or plastic laminating equipment, fiber processing and manufacturing, hot mold equipment, solar energy equipment, etc. In automotive or the transportation application, you can imagine in emission control, engine temperature, aircraft temperature and all. And in medical application, fever thermometers, fluid temperature measurement or dialysis equipment. And in consumer or household applications, burglar alarm, refrigeration and air conditioning, fire detection, oven temperature control. So all these applications include NTC type of thermistors. So the advantages of thermistors are they are very sensitive, uh, that is compared to other temperature sensor, that is thermocouples or RTDs. Thermistors are high sensitive compared to others, and their accuracy of their variation of the resistance is quite good. So as you can see, it is plus or minus 0.02 per degree centigrade. So they offer high range of resistance, and they come in a small size, so it is mostly suitable for most of the applications. And obviously the thermistors have fast response time compared to RTDs. Limitation is that the temperature range is typically from minus 100 to 150 degrees centigrade, and a non-linear resistance temperature relationship. So non-linear means you can understand the temperature for different temperature, the resistance value can be typically varying. Okay, errors can result from self-excitation also. So that is one of the limitations, and they get decalibrated on exposure to higher temperature. These are some of the references where you want to check more about thermistors and their application and all. So I will just go to the so in this experiment, as you can see, we have to measure temperature in terms of voltage and current using temperature sensor bridge. So we are using bridge along with our temperature sensor. So thermistor is our temperature sensor. So we are trying to measure the voltage and current, and we are trying to look at the resistance varying with respect to the temperature. So for that, the components that we are using in these experiments are the resistors that we use for the bridge, which are of 470 ohms and 1 kilo ohms. 1 kilo ohm DRB is also used, and the thermistor what we are using is NTC type with the resistance 471, and we are also using instrumentation amplifier, which is an IC AD620, where we know that instrumentation amplifier is used to provide a large amount of gain for very low level signals, right? So since the output from the thermistor, that is our sensor, what we are getting is of it is a low signal. To improve the signal, a gain amplifier is used. That's why the instrumentation amplifier is used. So the other equipments what we need will be DC power supplies, dual supply. Okay, DC power supply is to give the supply to our bridge where we need 5 volts. Dual supply we need uh, to power up our IC AD620, which requires plus 15 and minus 15. And we need a lamp. We are using lamp here in order to provide temperature. So we are using lamp with a dimmer stat, wherein the dimmer stat is used to provide the voltage, which ranges up to 230 volts. So ranging from 20 to 230. So that will be varying the intensity of the lamp. So the intensity of the lamp here we are using as a temperature to our sensor. Then we are using voltmeter and ammeter to measure the current and voltages. So all these theory we have just gone through, and about instrumentation amplifier, I leave it to you, which is an IC. The IC circuit is shown here with the pin diagram. As I said, it requires plus 15 and minus 15 Vs. So the input point is 3 and 2, that is plus and minus, and the output pin is 6. The reference is 5. Okay, you can just observe the connections of this AD620 in the circuit diagram shown here. So the circuit diagram is shown for to conduct the first part of the experiment here, to find voltage and current across thermistor. To find the voltage and current across thermistor, now we are using this bridge network. As you can see, this is the bridge, Wheatstone bridge. So in two arms of the Wheatstone bridge, we have connected 1 kilo ohm resistance. And since our thermistor is of resistance 471, which is a NTC 471, as you can see, so the other arm also will have the same resistance in the other arm. So we are using 470 ohms here. So as you can recall the Wheatstone bridge, yeah, the bridge output is connected to the instrumentation amplifier. Okay. um, Whereas here we are not taking the output from the IC as such, we are looking at the voltage across the thermistor and the current across the thermistor. So we are just observing the voltmeter connected across thermistor and the ammeter to observe the current flowing through this arm. Okay. So in order to conduct this experiment to find the voltage and current across thermistor, first thing is connect the circuit as shown in the diagram. So according to this circuit diagram, the connections are made. Okay. Now vary the lamp voltage in suitable steps and note down the corresponding voltage and current across thermistor. Now in this circuit, the temperature that is provided to the thermistor is not shown. That is, the lamp circuit is not shown. So you have one more circuit, that is lamp circuit. You are using the dimmer stat, which will be connected to the main supply. So the dimmer stat is a power supply which can be varied from say 0 volt to 230 volts. Okay, the output of which, that is, to that a lamp is connected. Okay, so by varying the dimmer stat, the voltage that you are feeding to the lamp will control the intensity of the lamp. So that intensity of the lamp is nothing but used as a temperature on the sensor here. Okay, so the experiment is vary the lamp voltage in suitable steps and note down corresponding voltage and current across thermistor. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the lamp circuit is not shown here, but you have to vary the lamp voltage. As I mentioned, vary the dimmer stat, vary the lamp voltage according to this table. Start from 0 volts that you are applying to lamp, then give it 20 volts, 40, 60, 80, 100. So for different intensity of the lamp, okay, note down the corresponding voltage and ammeter readings. Okay, voltmeter and ammeter readings. So that will give the voltage across the thermistor and the current flowing in this arm. All right. So once you note down all those readings, now you have to calculate the resistance. So resistance, we know, according to Ohm's law, it is given by V by I. So V is the voltage across thermistor and the current flowing through the thermistor. So that will give the resistance. So observe the resistance. Now plot lamp voltage versus current curve. Okay. So it would look something like this. Lamp voltage will be in the x-axis and in y-axis you will be taking thermistor current. Okay. So that is the first part of the experiment. Second part is to find balancing resistor. So to conduct the second part of the experiment, to find balancing resistor, connect the circuit as shown in figure 3. So this is figure 3. Now observe the difference in this figure 3. The bridge, in this arm, you are replacing the 470 ohm resistor with the DRB. Okay, discrete resistance box. So now what you are trying to do is, here you are trying to observe when the output voltage becomes 0 from this bridge circuit, you are observing you are noting down the resistance from the resistance box. Since we know the balancing condition of the bridge, we know, so whenever there is a balance condition, okay, the output what we are getting, if it is 0, which means that the resistance in these two arms will be equal, right? So we are trying to match the resistance of the thermistor by comparing it with that of the DRB. Okay, so in order to do that, again we will be taking different lamp voltage vary the lamp voltage in suitable steps, and note down corresponding resistance value in the DRB when output voltage becomes 0. So whenever output across thermistor becomes 0 for different lamp voltages, note down DRB resistance. Okay, so that you will plot here for lamp voltage, different lamp voltages, the resistance that you have noted down from DRB, you will be taking down here. So obviously it will be decreasing in nature. So as the intensity of the lamp increases, which is in turn our temperature increases, the resistance decreases. Okay, so that will be the conduction of the second part. Now if you compare the resistance value found in table and table 2, you have to just observe the resistance value, which will be almost matching with that, because here it is nothing but you are checking with the balance bridge condition. So the DRB resistance will be same as that of uh, the temperature sensor, that is NTC 471 thermistor. So that is about this experiment, wherein you will measure temperature is measured in terms of voltage and current using temperature sensor bridge. Okay, and also you are trying you are finding the balancing resistor using the resistance of the thermistor, that is using the bridge here. So go through the demo video what is shown there, and try to relate with this manual, which will help you to understand how to conduct this experiment. Hope it is clear. If you have any problem, any doubts, please get back.